Do you often notice that you're feeling energetically squeezed, overwhelmed, or even drained, especially after you've been around people? Or do you even have sometimes thoughts that just pop into your mind and you're like, where did that just come from? And I'm talking about those limiting thoughts that you usually don't really think about. And all of a sudden you're having all these weird thoughts coming into your mind and you're really not sure where did they come from. Or do you sometimes notice that you go from feeling absolutely great and happy to feeling totally down and just blue and just blah? If so, then I just want you to know there's nothing wrong with you. You most likely are picking up emotions from other people. You're absorbing other people's emotions, their thoughts, their feelings, and their negative energy. And that's what causes you to feel not okay. And in this video, I want to share with you some common signs that you are truly absorbing other people's energies. And when you know that, when you know those signs, you have more of the awareness that whenever you are noticing that you're feeling not okay, you can then tune in to see, okay, is this mine or is this something that I'm picking up? And if you are picking something up, then you can do something about it. Or even if it is yours, then you can still do something about it. Without the awareness, you can't really do anything about it. So my intention with this video is to give you the awareness, to share with you some of those common signs that you are picking up and absorbing other people's emotions and feelings and negative energies, so you can then be more empowered and do something about whenever you're noticing that you're feeling not okay. So let's dive right into those common signs. The very first one is that feeling overwhelmed and emotionally drained and overwhelmed, especially when you are around people, especially when you're maybe going into crowds. Let's say you're going to the store or anything like that. Or if you're around other people and let's say they are upset or they're having a stressful day or things like that. If you are feeling quite drained and emotionally just overloaded, overwhelmed, then you most likely picking up other people's negative energies and their emotions. And especially the more intense they're feeling it, you may then feel it more intensely as well. And this can also change in intensity of how you're feeling it, depending on how the other person is feeling. But even let's say when you are at work, for example, even though you're not in close contact with that person, but even just you going to the store or being at work with all these different people, they all have their own stuff to deal with on a day-to-day basis, right? So if you're noticing that all of a sudden you're just feeling quite emotionally drained and overwhelmed, then you most likely are picking up stuff from other people, unless you're dealing with your own stuff, right? But let's say everything is good on your end, you really don't have anything to worry about, but you all of a sudden you're feeling that emotional overwhelm, then you're most likely picking up stuff from other people. Then the second sign is that you all of a sudden start feeling different. Like from one moment to the next, you're feeling different. You may then also have some really off-the-wall thoughts that are popping into mind, where you have thoughts of maybe I'm not good enough, I can't do this, or I shouldn't even try, or even some worse thoughts that you usually wouldn't have. And you're like, where did that come from? Why am I thinking those things? And oftentimes those thoughts can actually be so subtle that you're actually not really becoming aware of them until you all of a sudden feeling like not okay. All of a sudden you're feeling just, what happened? I felt okay. And then what's going on here, right? And then when you open yourself up to really becoming aware of your thoughts, you may then notice that you're picking up thoughts that you don't even really know. Why are you thinking those thoughts? If you've ever had that, especially when you're around a lot of people, you may actually pick up people's thoughts as well. And especially the more intense they are thinking those thoughts and the more intense they're feeling their feelings, and the more sensitive you are, you may be picking up those thoughts. And here you want to be careful though, because you don't want to make them your own. Because when it comes to thoughts, it's quite easy to think, well, these are my thoughts. I mean, they're in my head. So of course, I must believe that. I don't know why I'm believing this, but I guess I must be believing that, right? So that can actually then take you in somewhat of a downward spiral if you're really believing those thoughts, making them your own. Then it becomes part of your identity. And even when you're, let's say, talking to another person and you are then actually picking up their beliefs as well, whenever they're talking about something and all of a sudden you're like, yes, yeah, I get it, I understand. And then it becomes part of your identity too, if you're accepting that, right? If you're accepting their truth to be your truth, it becomes part of your identity here. So you want to be very careful, because as empaths and highly sensitive souls and intuitives, it's very easy to pick up other people's thoughts thinking they're our own, and then they become part of our identity. And if you don't want that happening, then be careful what you're thinking or become aware of what you're thinking. And if there's any thought that pops in mind that you're like, no, I don't want to believe this, do not make that your identity. Say, like, nope, this is not my belief. This is not what I want to believe. I reject that, right? But when you're noticing that you're all of a sudden having those beliefs, those thoughts kind of popping in, you most likely are picking up stuff from other people as well, especially if they're a little off that you don't even recognize, like, why am I thinking this? Why am I believing this? Then that's a good indicator that's actually that you picked up something from other people. And that's why it's so important that you also then learn to determine what is yours and what is other people's stuff. If it's other people's stuff, you want to reject it. If it's your own stuff, you then want to just work through that and do whatever you need to do to break through that. Then the third sign is that what can happen is that from one moment to the next, you go from feeling absolutely great and absolutely happy to feeling totally low and just blah, like blue and depressed and upset. You're feeling all these negative feelings, and it can actually happen, like it comes on like a wave. It just kind of hits you out of nowhere, that from one moment you're feeling really great, and next moment you're feeling not so okay. And this can also vary in degree of intensity. It can be just slightly that you're going from feeling okay to not okay, or it can be from feeling okay or great to feeling absolutely down in the trenches, right? It also really depends on, what you're really picking up on, how sensitive you are. You may even sometimes wonder, like, am I developing bipolar or whatnot? Because I go from one moment to the next, like, what is going on? Now here also, just know that, no, you do not have bipolar. You're just picking up a lot of stuff from the collective or from the people that you're around. Especially if you're around a person that has a lot of emotional turmoil going on. And if you're open to it, whether you're aware of it or not, but you can pick up on their stuff. Right? So if you've ever experienced that you go from one moment to the next from feeling good to feeling not okay, that too is a great sign that you're picking up stuff from other people. And here, this can actually also happen, from you picking up the stuff on a collective level, like especially if we're going through crisis. And I mean, we've experienced a lot of crisis, as of lately. I mean, actually, these last couple of years, there was a lot, like from the natural disasters and all these other things that we're experiencing. And you may actually feel the emotional charge from all these people that were affected by these natural disasters, by the crimes, by all these things that are really happening in the world. So here, if you're going from one moment to the next where you're feeling just absolutely good to absolutely not okay, then you may actually be picking up a lot of the emotions from the collective as well. And here I want to mention a video for you. It's a light language activation to release any stuck energy. If you are often feeling that, then maybe check out that activation to help you release any of that stuck energy so you can release it and feel good again. The link for that video is in the description below. Then the fourth sign is that you may then also experience unexplained physical discomfort, pains, aches, illnesses, and even sickness. So you're having those physical responses because if all these emotions, they're unchecked, if you take them on and take them on and take them on and don't really do anything to protect yourself, to cleanse the energy on a day-to-day basis and things like that, it can actually turn into then or develop into physical discomfort, physical conditions, illnesses, and things like that. Because the energy just kind of festers within your system. And if you don't release it, if you don't cleanse it, if you don't protect yourself, it just stays with you and it becomes part of you. And that can then lead to physical discomfort. So if you're experiencing any physical discomfort or illnesses that are unexplained, I mean, you go to a doctor and they're like, no, everything seems fine, but you're having all these problems, then you may actually be picking up negative energies. So this can lead to actual physical pain, aches and pains. It can cause, some maybe stomach discomfort and things like that. Because all that negative emotions that you're picking up then is manifested in the physical discomfort or condition. So if you're experiencing any of that, then it's a good sign that you are absorbing other people's energies and picking up a lot of stuff that is really not yours. Here, I want to mention 2 videos for you. One is a morning light language activation to really help cleanse you from the night and then protect you for the day, to keep you protected from any negative energies that is really not to your highest and greatest good. And then an evening activation as well to cleanse anything from that you picked up from the day and then also protect you at nighttime. Both of those activations are also in the description below. I highly recommend you start listening to them in the morning and in the evening, or do something for yourself in the morning and in the evening to cleanse your energy, to clear your energy, to protect your energy, to recharge your energy as well, your energetic field, so you can feel okay and protect yourself from anything that is really not yours. But if you are experiencing any of those physical symptoms, then you most likely are picking up stuff that is really not yours. Then the fifth sign is that your sleep can also be disturbed, or that you have some really intense off-the-wall dreams. And that is because, and especially like, let's say you have a partner and your partner sleeping next to you, you could actually be picking up on their stuff during your nighttime sleep as well. Or if you are single, or if you don't have anyone sleeping right next to you, you could pick up something from someone else in your home, or even also on a collective level as well. So you may be picking up, emotions, like also from these crises and those emotional things going on in the world or whatnot. So you may be picking up that too. So if you are experiencing some very disturbed nighttime rest, or you're just having this very off the wall intense dreams, you may be picking up stuff also on an energetic level and an emotional level that is then playing out at night. So whenever you're picking up those negative emotions from other people, and also if you picked up a lot during the day and you didn't cleanse yourself, that's why that evening cleanse is so important, because if you don't, then you're often working through these things at night. So you're basically processing all that stuff that you picked up throughout the day while you're trying to sleep during your nighttime rest. So if you are noticing that, so that's also a great sign that you're picking up other people's negative emotions and energies, and you want to really cleanse and clear yourself, on a consistent basis, especially before you go to bed, especially, of what you picked up throughout the day, so you can sleep better, so you can have a better night's sleep. Then the sixth and final sign that I want to share with you is that you get easily triggered, because the more you're picking up negative emotions, negative energies, and you're not cleansing and clearing it, it starts to fester, starts to stay within you. It becomes part of you. It becomes part of your identity. And if you're taking on too much from other people and it stays unchecked for too long, you then become easily triggered. You kind of develop somewhat of a short fuse that just a fly on the wall kind of pisses you off, so to speak, right? So the more you pick up, the more you take on from other people, the more you absorb, and you don't do anything to cleanse and clear yourself, that's when you then really develop that short fuse where, because it's just, you're having that emotional overload within yourself, right? So you have your own stuff to deal with, then you're dealing with all the stuff that you picked up from other people, and your system can only handle so much. And if it's too much, that's when you then develop that short fuse. You're always getting angry and frustrated and blow up very quickly, and you're triggered very easily as well. So if any of those signs resonate with you, just know that you most likely are picking up and absorbing other people's negative energies and negative emotions. So here, having that awareness is going to be key for you to do something about. Now, I shared with you a couple of light language activations that can help you, but starting a daily practice, a morning practice and an evening practice, is going to be key for you to really cleanse and clear anything that you picked up, to protect yourself, to shield yourself against anything that is not yours. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor, hit the like button. Maybe share it with someone that you think could benefit from hearing this. Maybe you know someone that is often, has that short fuse, that has those unexplained physical conditions. Maybe share that video with them so they can understand that, hey, whatever they're experiencing, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just that they're picking up a lot of stuff. Now, of course, if there's medical conditions involved, you definitely want to get that checked out. But if it's something that the doctors can't really help you, or they don't really know what's going on, then most likely you are picking up stuff that is really not yours. So here, then, do something to really protect yourself, to cleanse yourself on a day-to-day basis. Start out with the activations that I shared with you. Links are in the description below. That is a good starting point. So thank you so much for being here. Now be sure to check out these videos here. That's the morning and the evening activation to get you started with that. And thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, make an amazingly abundant and joyful day. Namaste.